Welcome, 8th graders. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today. We live in an incredibly fast-paced digital world, don't we? I mean, every single day you're scrolling through feeds, watching videos, listening to podcasts, and taking in a massive amount of information. You are quite literally surrounded by media all the time. But today, our goal is to help you shift gears. We're going to move you from being just a passive viewer, someone who just watches the screen go by, into a wise, critical consumer of information. By the end of our time together, you're going to see the digital world in a completely new, empowering way.
Okay, so here is our roadmap for today's lesson. First, we'll do a quick welcome to digital literacy. Then, we're decoding the multimodal text. Next, we'll look at visual, audio, and interactive elements. After that, we're analyzing real-world media, evaluating source credibility, and finally, we'll wrap up with the godly learner philosophy.
All right, let's dive right into Section 1, Welcome to Digital Literacy. Before we break down the modern internet, we actually need to look backward to understand the foundation of why we communicate visually in the first place. And surprise, this concept isn't new at all. Look at this verse from Habakkuk 2:2. It says, "Write the vision, make it plain on tablets, so he may run who reads it." Combining visual formats to make a message perfectly clear? That is actually an ancient scriptural concept. Thousands of years ago, God instructed his prophets to write things down plainly so people could instantly understand and take action, so they could literally run with it. Today, content creators are trying to do the exact same thing. They want to present a vision clearly and quickly, hoping you'll run with their message.
Moving right along to Section 2, Decoding the Multimodal Text.
So this is the academic core of our lesson today. We need to define exactly what kind of media we're dealing with when we open up our phones or our laptops. So what exactly is a multimodal text? Well, it's information that combines multiple modes, like visuals, sounds, videos, and interactive elements, to communicate meaning. You see, reading just isn't about picking up a printed book or newspaper anymore. Not at all. Today, when you read the news, you might actually be looking at a blog, listening to a podcast, or swiping through a graphic-heavy social media post. And each of those different modes adds its own specific layer of meaning to the story being told. Now let's get into Section 3, Visual, Audio, and Interactive Elements. We really need to look under the hood here and introduce the 3 specific tools creators use to build these powerful texts. Think of this as the creator's toolkit. First up, we have visual elements. This includes the colors, the fonts, and the images they choose. A bright red, bold font, that screams urgency, but a soft blue script, that feels calm. They are intentionally setting the mood before you even read a single word. Second, we have audio elements. Music, sound effects, and the tone of the narrator's voice can completely change how you feel about a message. Ever notice how a sad video almost always has a slow piano playing in the background? Yeah, that's entirely by design. Finally, interactive elements. These are the clickable links, the polls, the videos you can pause or replay. They let you explore the content at your own pace, which, you guessed it, keeps your attention locked in for a lot longer.
Let's put this into practice with Section 4, Analyzing Real-World Media.
Okay, now that we know the 3 tools, visual, audio, and interactive, we're going to apply them to the real-world examples you see online every single day. Let's do a quick comparison. Imagine you're researching climate change. You might come across a digital infographic, and you might come across a traditional news article. The infographic is going to show you rising temperature trends with bright red lines, huge bold numbers, and really striking images. It's incredibly fast to scan, and it appeals right to your emotions. But right next to it, the news article covers the exact same facts using paragraphs. While the infographic is faster and really grabs you, the article provides the deeper context, the historical background, and the detailed explanation. To get the full truth, you often need the context that the article provides, not just the quick flash of the graphic.
Let's look at another example using a short video report on local flooding. The creator uses dramatic footage, which is highly effective because it grabs your attention and shows you the harsh reality of the water rising. But here is the warning. Those intense visuals can totally overwhelm the actual facts of the story. Then they add a tense, driving background music track. The effect? It creates a massive sense of urgency and emotion. But again, a warning here. That music is actively manipulating your emotional response. It makes the problem feel a certain way, intentionally influencing your feelings way beyond what the plain facts might suggest.
Which brings us to Section 5, Evaluating Source Credibility.
Recognizing these tools is great, but now we must transition to the absolute most critical skill of all, evaluating if what we are looking at is actually true and reliable. Let's say you find an interactive map online about world hunger. It's an amazing piece of multimodal text. You can click on different countries, pull up specific stats, and explore stories at your own pace. It is highly engaging. So the crucial point is this. Before you accept that information as fact, you must pause. You absolutely must identify who created the map, what organization built this thing, and what is their motive. Furthermore, we have to verify if their data is trustworthy. Just because a digital tool is super fun to click on doesn't mean the information behind it is honest.
As your teacher, I want to give you a very clear warning right here. Do not be misled. It is so easy to fall for an emotional appeal wrapped up in a highly produced video or a slick graphic. If we don't learn how to analyze these different modes, we risk missing important information, or worse, being completely manipulated. You need these analysis skills not just for your school essays, but for your future work, and honestly, to be a wise citizen who makes informed decisions based on the full truth.
Finally, let's wrap up with Section 6, the Godly Learner Philosophy.
Let's shift our perspective just a bit and look at the higher spiritual purpose behind why we're studying this today. Read this verse with me carefully. Romans 8:6-7 says, "For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace." The media we consume is constantly fighting for our mind. When we blindly consume whatever pops up on our screens, driven purely by human emotions and earthly reactions, that carnal mindedness, it leads to confusion and anxiety. But when we apply critical thinking and keep our minds spiritually focused on what is true and right, we find life and peace.
And this is the absolute core of the HeroesMart Academy philosophy. We intertwine biblical morality with our education because education without morality can actually hurt. We don't just learn to be more clever or more capable in the digital world. No, knowledge and intelligence should help you make wise, God-honoring choices. We want you to pursue academic excellence, like mastering multimodal texts, while keeping your mind centered on God, truth, wisdom, and righteous choices. You use your digital literacy to seek the truth, honoring God with your mind.
So, I want to leave you with a homework challenge to put this directly into practice. Why is it important to check the source of digital content? Think about everything we discussed today, the visual tricks, the emotional music, the hidden motives behind the data. I want you to apply your new critical lens to the digital world the very next time you open up a social media app or a news site. Really question what you're seeing. Until next time, stay sharp, seek the truth, and keep your mind stayed on peace.